Hello! Welcome to the stream! It's a bit of an unexpected dating sim stream today, but Mesa couldn't come, so I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Let me move myself down, but I'm covering up chat a little bit. Hi Chunky, welcome! And Nika, welcome to the stream! We're gonna finish this man's route today. We're gonna do it. I'm determined. Yeah. So it obviously was meant to be Fall Guys tonight. And I planned Fall Guys because Mesa didn't know she could join or not, and then she told me she was gonna join. And I was gonna make it like a big surprise. Like, oh my god, Mesa's here! And then like today, out of like nowhere, Mesa's got like the flu or something. So she's like dying in bed, so she couldn't join stream today. So I was like, you know what? As a little treat, it's dating sim time. Hi Jojo, welcome to the stream. We're gonna finish this man's route today. I'm hoping that I saved it right before we finished last time because I don't remember. I need to get off this opening screen because I have this playing in my ears the entire time since I loaded it up and I needed it gone. It's like bop of a song, but I need it out my ears now. So yeah, I think last time we just got the bad ending, I believe, yeah. And then we went back and skipped the bad ending, so now we're going to hopefully... Yeah, I know, I hope Mesa feels better too. I've been getting a bits all day, so I hope she feels alright. And she's resting now, so hopefully she's fine. We have checked for the virus that will not be named, and it is not the virus that will not be named, so that's always good. That's always good. But yeah, it's time to get this man's. I think at some point I'm gonna make a little man shelf and I'm gonna start putting the boys whose routes we finish on the man's shelf. Well, I was actually thinking, because I really want to get this route done today, because then I might have a little break from Paradigm and Paradox, because next week it's Fire Emblem week, everyone. So there might be just 1 or 2 Fire Emblem streams. So I don't know if I'll do Paradigm Paradox as well. I guess it depends what Macy's up to. I don't know how she's gonna be. But we'll see. We'll see, I guess. A little man collection, yeah, we're gonna put all of our little men on our shelf. Alright, so let's get back into it. After wrapping up the mission, we swung by the classroom to pick up our belongings. Mihaya held it together as Moko until the mission ended, but now he was silent as he walked in front of me. More Fire Emblem, yes, I'll do loads of Fire Emblem streams. I'm really excited, so hopefully it's a good game. I'm hoping. Yeah, not so Fire Emblem talk once again, but I think for stream, I might like not make myself not be able to restart maps if a character dies. I think I might lock myself into any character death, which will be incredibly sad, but I think we should do it. I think it'd be funny. I'll make another save file where I can meet the characters properly on my own, but I think for stream we should make characters die forever and have no take backsies, no map restarts. And I'll cry. I'm sure he's thinking about whether to use his sap ability or not. I decided it was best to stay quiet until Mihaya wanted to talk, but then all of a sudden he stopped in his tracks and turned to face me. Going back to what we were talking about earlier. The Iron Man challenge run. I mean, I'm gonna say that now, but if there's a character that I really like and we lose them along the way, I might have to go back on my word. You know? The one thing, like, I really like playing Fire Emblem like the old style, like, with permadeath. But then I'm also like, oh, but there's so many bits about characters you don't get to, like, see because you lose them or whatever. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm gonna go in with the intention of doing that. And then we'll see how it goes. Play by ear. Actually, I just need to Google something real quick about back to Paradigm Paradox, the game we're actually playing. because I get to watch the game opening when I load the game up. And I thought I saw something, and I need to verify what I thought I saw. I'm incredibly confused because, like, on the game opening, one of them had just like a really like Western sounding name, but that's not listed online. I'm like, why is this guy's name that on the game opening? I'm very confused. Anyway, it's fine. I'm gonna look into that stream. I want to know why. Cirrus, when you said that about my parents, it made me think of something. I remembered that he'd seemed to figure out something right before the alarm went off. I leaned forward excitedly. So you've worked out what your father meant when he said it was their big chance? I think so. I believe he was talking about receiving permission to visit a certain colony. I get really annoyed because I really want to play the game opening for you all, but then the one time I played one of the endings, I had to mute it, so I can't do it. It's just so sad. You mentioned that there were times he couldn't get it. That's right. As you pointed out, visiting other colonies isn't allowed all that often. And if he finally got permission one day, and it was for a colony he'd been trying to visit for a long time, wouldn't what he said make sense? Hold on, I need to turn the game down because it's in my ears and I can't read and think while he's speaking to me. My brain's not that powerful. It's too risky, I know. The opening's good. The opening is such a bop as well. Like, it's really sad. So when I'm setting up the stream, I sit here and listen to it, like, singing along before the stream. I felt that had to be it. There was something significant about the way he said it, like it was something he'd been barred from doing previously. So it makes sense if he was referring to a colony he couldn't visit before. I'm so glad we figured it out. I feel confident about it because you think so too, Cirrus. Despite what you said, Mihaya didn't look very pleased. But that means you can't achieve your goal unless you leave theatre and go to that other colony. Seems that way. I think the last job my parents tried to undertake was near that colony. Or perhaps it was related to the colony itself? If that's the case, I have to go there, so that I can continue to follow in their footsteps. We love a man with a goal. I can see the last place they saw again. Oh. And I want to find what they were looking for. I had an idea what I'd say next. It was obvious that it was plaguing him, even if he didn't say it out loud. There's no need to rush to any conclusions. You're tired from the mission too. We should just go back and rest. I said that out of concern for him. Mihaya looked down with a sigh. I'm well aware using SAP is the best way to achieve my goal. If I can't do that, I should just look for another route and not be so fixated on following my parents' footsteps. But he's a baby. I'll think on it a little more. Like you said, I'm tired and not thinking straight. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't talk much after that. We retrieved our things from the classroom and returned to our dorms. Oh, is it emailing Uncle Yashima time? Are we back to the emailing Uncle Yashima? I couldn't stop thinking about Mihaya, even after we parted ways. I guess that makes sense since I've been with him since school ended until now, including when he was Mocha. He's a little baby man. Baby. The more time I spent with Mihaya, the more I realised how similar we were. We both experienced someone we loved dying before our eyes, and we both felt tremendous guilt over it. I like how whenever like we're talking about this, we're not talking about like our dead parents, like he has his dead parents. We're just talking about Liz. Liz is more important to us than our parents. I mean, valid, but... Once again, I'm going to drink my tea before it goes cold. We'll have to face our issues head on if we want to work through our trauma. I can imagine how Mihaya feels right now. I mean, if someone told me that killing lots of vectors would make up for what I did to Liz, I'm not sure I'd be able to do it. I had to take Liz's life to save her, so it would make some sense to view the vectors in the same way. A person might say saving vectors like that would help me get rid of my guilt. But even so, I couldn't imagine myself purposely going out to kill them. If I can face them if lives are at stake, but I don't think I'll be able to fight them like I used to. And because of that, I don't have any room to tell Mihaya what to do. I can't overcome my own trauma, so there's no way I can force Mihaya to do it. Of course he'd be reluctant to use his ability, since it was directly connected to his parents' death. But now, those same powers were looking like a solution to his present issue. He was pulled between the desire to overcome his trauma and his hatred for the method that would help him. I can't just tell him to do it or not to do it. We're respecting him. We respect the boy. In the end, I realised it was something Mihaya had to decide for himself. Just as I come to the conclusion that fighting vectors wouldn't help with my own trauma, Mihaya has to decide what's best for himself. Then, what I can do is help Mihaya draw his own conclusions. No emailing tonight. No Uncle Yashima. Uncle Yashima's not real. He can't hurt you. The next day, the commander called us together and again informed us that the higher ups wanted to increase the number of patrols. We're being worked to the bone. They were displeased that the vectors had shown up yesterday and ordered that we start patrolling as a group immediately. No, every day. My word, are we going to be on missions every hour of the day? It's not our fault the vectors appeared in the first place. Queen. As expected, everyone began voicing their frustrations when they heard the order. There's no point in complaining. It's already been decided. Everyone's all like pouty faces are so cute. Can you blame us though? You're with me on this, right? Huh? Me? Well, I do agree it would be tough for us all to patrol every day, but I guess it's the same for the commander and Ryo too. They're not the ones who gotta fight. Jeez, you're a bit too easygoing, you know that? They're like, we're friends normally now, so I get to insult you all the time. I mean, fair. Mocha's tone was a mixture of shocked and worried, but I didn't feel put out by the extra patrolling. This actually works out perfectly. Though we've been patrolling all together, we decided to keep our pairs the same, which meant I'd be with Ryo again. Last night I contemplated what I could do before going to bed, but I resolved to try and gather as much information about the outside as I could. Waifus and their pouty faces. We love a pissed off woman. That's why the patrol wasn't an issue for me. I'd use an opportunity to talk with Ryo again, since I rarely ever got to. Let's get a move on, Ryo. I still don't know what your deal is, Ryo. What's got you so excited? My sudden burst of motivation caught Ryo, not to mention everyone else, by surprise. Oh, it's just we've been patrolling every day, yet the vectors still find a way in. It's embarrassing. So I'm hoping we can find evidence of where they're coming from. I see. What's your deal, Ryo? What I said was partially true, and Ryo seemed convinced enough. No one seemed to suspect anything either, so I started to leave before anyone pressed the matter further. We're heading out. Good luck, everyone. Everyone was like, what a dick. So enthusiastic about the mission. We all hate it. We don't want to be here. I guess it's good you're enthusiastic. Just don't overdo it. I know it's a drag, but you should check in regularly. Where's your comm? Got it right here. Thanks, Mocha. I thanked her, then hightailed out of the room with Rio. Wow, it's Rio time. Okay, so where's all this motivation coming from? We didn't fool him one bit. Rio asked me with a sigh when we arrived at our starting point. Well, I wanted to talk to you. Why is that? He's like, to me? You said before that it wouldn't do me any good to know what about what's outside theatre. But the way you said it, I got the impression that you do know about it. Yeah, we know he does. He goes out to that other colony all the time. And what if I do? His tone turned standoffish, but I remained undeterred. Do you know how many vectors are outside Theta? Are they right outside, or will we not come across them unless we go further out? If you know about stuff like that, I'd really appreciate it if you tell me. Adorable. Hoops. You mean real? You have even more questions now, you know. You've been awfully interested in the outside lately. We ain't fooling him. Why didn't you know all this anyway? It seemed like he wasn't going to immediately try and end the conversation, but I wasn't sure what to say next. I'm doing this on my own accord, so I can't mention Mocha. What should I say? Don't give me options, please. Please, I can't handle it right now. I can't tell you why, but I want to find the vectors. I want to do it separately from the Bloom's missions if I can, and I want to stay as close to Theta as possible. I racked my brain to come up with an answer that would quite frankly seemed implausible, but it managed to pique Ryo's interest. How odd. I thought you'd been refusing to fight the vectors. Does it have something to do with Mocha? We can literally get nothing past this man. He'd figured it out so quickly, I felt myself break into a cold sweat. Oh, what made you think that? How do I put it? You were acting strange in our previous patrol when you were with Mocha. That's because we died in one version of that. And you specifically asked what was outside Theta then? We're so stupid. It doesn't take a genius to put 2 and 2 together. His logic was incredibly sound, and I had to concede I hadn't been the best at hiding it. I admit, this has to do with Mocha. But she doesn't know what I'm asking you these questions. I'm doing this on my own. So, can I ask you not to tell her about this? I'll talk to her when the time is right. No skin off my back. But you asked earlier. You know I can't tell you anything. He thinks we're sussy, we think he's sussy, we're both there with like guns behind our back, ready to like pull them out and point them at each other. Everyone's sussy. I know, but if my plan seemed possible to you in any way, please tell me. I pleaded with him, and eventually a smile spread over his face. Suppose it'd get me some good samples. Alright, I'm interested. Let's hear what you have to say. What is going on? What is your deal, man? I really want to know what your deal is. Come on. Ryo practically never smiled. I got an uneasy feeling crept over me. Mihaya said he can't be trusted, but maybe he wasn't trustworthy, but I figured if I'd take anyone's assurance if they could help Mihaya. He is so saucy. A few days after my discussion with Ryo, our daily patrols continued, so Mihaya and I had been unable to meet after school. We were finally given a break yesterday, which meant that Mihaya and I might be able to get together today. Lunchtime at last. I wondered if Mihaya would join me again if I invited him. I made extra for lunch, but he might want to think over things by himself. I remembered how worried he'd been through it. Yeah? He's going through it? I remembered how worried he'd been and thought it was entirely possible he'd want to be alone. I just decided to find some place where I could eat in peace, and I heard my classmates growing louder. Hey, is that who I think it is? Give your cutie pie a smile, please. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Have a sip of tea. Come on, lad. Give our cutie pie a smile, please. Ooh, with sugar comes on top. Hey, is that who I think it is? What are you doing here? What's going on, huh? Mihaya? Mihaya was peering into the classroom, so I hurried over to him. What's the matter? I've discovered something. I wanted to get your opinion, Cirrus. We haven't been able to meet for a while. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We haven't been able to meet for a while, so I've been going over some things at night, and Mihaya looked like he was going to keep talking, but I could feel my classmates watching us, so I quickly interrupted him. This sounds important. Let's go somewhere we can talk quietly. Did you already eat lunch? No, not yet. Is Mihaya sussy? I think Mihaya has nothing else left to hide, if I'm honest. I think he's told us everything now. So, for now, he's not sussy. He's innocent for now. Then let's discuss it over lunch. I bought my own again. Would you like some? Did you make so much you can't finish it again? He might have been genuinely concerned, but his tone was skeptical. I felt myself getting annoyed. No, I didn't make that much this time. I just thought that maybe you and I could eat lunch together, that's all. You don't have to justify it. I was just joking. He's too smart to take that seriously. Seriously? I turned bright red when I realised he was teasing me. Mihaya looked a little awkward as he continued. Well, it was meant to be a joke, but I'm assuming you don't. You really did make too much. Yeah, I did. Then I'm more than happy to partake. I just bought a bun, but let me go get it. How about we talk in the empty classroom? Is this still going to be empty during school time? Sure, I'll be there in a second. As Mihaya strode away and I realised my cheeks were still burning. I thought I was embarrassed in being teased. Seeing Mihaya smile for the first time in a while stirred something in my heart. Mihaya is thundering. I think it's more like he doesn't know how to like make the emotions come out. Like he's like, oh yeah, it was just a joke, lol, but it didn't sound like it was a joke. We met in the same empty classrooms before and began eating our lunch. You really made a ton. And it's okay for me to have some? Of course. Mihaya ate the bread bun he bought and partook of my lunch as well. What fancy wording. Don't force yourself if you're full. I can finish whatever you don't. I didn't want him to feel like he had to eat it. Mihaya turned to me, a serious look on his face. I can't lie when it comes to these things. I'd tell you if I didn't want to eat it. I'd tell you if it was fucking disgusting. And I'd tell you if it tasted terrible. Well, what I'm trying to say is, you're really good at cooking, Cirrus. That's why I want to eat it, plain and simple. Oh, he's blushing! Baby man, baby man. What he said reminded me of when I gave him the cookies. He's a hungry man. Look, you're proud of these cookies, right? Then just have confidence in them. Besides, I wouldn't be eating them if they were terrible. I think you'd eat them anyway. That's just my opinion. That's right, Mihai is honest to a fault. And unlike before, he directly told me that the food was good. I felt a surge of happiness. He's like a food critic, right? He's like, he'd be the best food critic ever. That can be like the next way he's taken with his parents, because parents are journalists and he can be a food critic in the paper. That's what he can do. Thanks. Then let's eat together again sometime. If you make too much, I'll eat whatever extra you have. It'd be a waste of food otherwise. He's so dense, what the hell? It didn't seem like he was being fully honest there, but I could tell he liked eating together. I wish these peaceful days could go on forever. But we faced a mountain of problems. The environment around us, and not to mention our past, was enough to shatter any calm we had. After we finished lunch, Mihaya started up the conversation again. It always throws me off when he's like this angle. You can't see his little plait. I want to see his little plait. I was about to tell you this earlier, but I organised my parents' things when I got back to my dorm yesterday. I hadn't gone through their stuff yet because I didn't want to think about what happened. Wait. So he told us that he couldn't find anything, he was really struggling, and he had all of his parents' things. He had all of his parents' things this whole time. Mihaya, honey, I hate to break it to you, but but because you found those clues in my parents' books, I thought I should face it. Like Gordon Ramsay? Oh my god, Mihaya Ramsay. Mihaya Ramsay, what's your opinion on my food, please? I'm glad I looked through everything. Did you find another clue? Yes, I've been focusing on the environmental issues my parents have been researching, but the key seemed to be the other colonies, right? So I shifted my approach and I looked at everything relating to those colonies. And then I found this. It looked like the map at the beginning of your parents' books. It is, but none of the maps in the books are exactly like this one. Compared to it, I compared it to the ones in the most recent book. Mihaya drew out the book we looked at the other day. As he directed, I turned my attention to the map on the first page. I still can't believe he didn't notice the maps in the book. Like, oh my god. They look nearly identical. But the map I found has a red dot here. Oh, you're right. Mihaya pointed to one of the dots that we'd speculated signified the location of the other colonies. But look, they've written something next to it. It's pretty faded. I think that's just a question mark. It seems like they're about to explore that area. So that means... I think this was the colony my parents were trying to go to on that last job. We found it. We got him, lads. Mihaya, this is a major discovery. This is amazing. Now we know exactly where they were going. We won't know if it's accurate or not until we go there. There's a question mark there, after all, I think. Mihaya paused with hesitation, so I choose my next words carefully. Have you decided whether you use sap or not? About that. Mihaya grew quiet and closed his eyes for the moment. Progress, yes, there's lore in here now. When he opened them again, he looked directly at me. I could see sadness reflected in his eyes. I remembered what happened when I found this map. Uh-oh. What happened that day when I went outside theatre for the first time with my parents for the first and last time. Bum bum bum. I think we were all being careless that day. Oh my god, we have eyeless Mihaya parents. Mihaya, are you able to keep up? Hang on. I think I might be the one in trouble here. Have you seen my camera anywhere? Come on, our cameras are practically our lifeblood as journalists. You should double check before we left. I could do without the extra commentary. Oh, great, thanks. Mihaya has one. Little baby journalist. Hey, looks like Mihaya is turning out to be more of a journalist than you. I can't really deny that. Besides, you look great with that camera, Mihaya. I begged my parents to let me carry my camera that day. I had it around my neck. Like my father said, I wanted to try and become a journalist, just like them. I've been looking forward to see what lie outside theatre for the first time, and I was ecstatic about being on a trip with my parents. I respected them immensely, and the prospect of seeing them work made me so happy, so much so that I couldn't sleep the night before. But I was never very talkative as a kid, so I didn't really tell them how I felt, but I'm sure my parents had an idea. They definitely knew. My mother had suggested that they get me a camera, despite the fact that she'd initially objected to me going with them. My father didn't say anything more, just patted me on the head with his big hand. Alright, let's get going! Make sure to keep up, okay? That was the last time I saw their faces. Sad. When I first saw the outside, it just seemed like a desolate wasteland. I think you've seen what it looks like directly outside Theatre Cirrus, but it continues like that even after you've walked farther out. Regular humans can't live for even 5 minutes out there without a protective suit. I got scared the moment I stepped outside, but my suit and the fact my parents were there calmed me down. The wasteland stretched on as far as I could see, and the farther we got from theatre, the drearier it became. I couldn't hear much of anything because of the suit, which made the outside seem very quiet. Good memories at the start, then very bad, very, very bad. It felt as if we were the only people left in the entire world. I don't remember how far we walked, but we'd gone far enough that we couldn't see theatre anymore. That's when it happened. My mother had been walking in front of me, and suddenly she fell to her knees, doubled over in pain. Uh-oh. At about the same time, I started to feel like I couldn't breathe, and I wasn't able to stand. My father immediately noticed something was wrong with us. He ran to us and then tried to call for help on his comm. I think he sent a distress signal to Theta. But we were too far out. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my mother struggling, then she stopped, motionless. Soon everything started to get hazy. God, this is horrible! As I drifted in and out of consciousness, I noticed my father had placed a reassuring hand on me. Through my blurred vision, I saw him remove the helmet from his suit. He then took my helmet off, switching it with his. When I realised what he was doing, I tried to stop him. Are you telling me that a child was wearing a suit the same size as his parents? Because I don't believe that. I wanted to say, stop, you're going to die if you do that. But my body wouldn't move. I lay there helpless. All I could do was cry. My father stopped moving soon after. Sad. Only a short while earlier, it felt as if the world was just the three of us. Now it was just me. I refused to accept it. I prayed to myself. I didn't want to be left behind all alone. I hoped and prayed I'd be taken with them. That's so sad. But you know that wish didn't come true. When I regained consciousness, I was in the research district. All these researchers surrounded me with big smiles plastered on their faces. They weren't happy I was safe. They were thrilled that someone had managed to recover after breathing in the noxious air outside theatre. They proclaimed their research had achieved successful results, then assailed me with questions right after I woke up. They became even more animated when they learned I had awakened to my powers. But I didn't share their enthusiasm. All I felt was disgust growing in me. I'm like sad now. I knew it was a sad backstory, but I'm like, One of the researchers told me that my parents had passed away, but I didn't hear an ounce of sympathy in their voice. They just told me like it was some checkbox they had to tick. None of them even offered me a kind glance when I was in so much pain. I felt so sad to be all alone, and the loneliness was unbearable. Everyone in there was interested in the results of their research, or the discovery of another superpowered person, than my feelings. Sadness and disgust churned inside me as I thought about the last time I saw my father. He had smiled at me. This is mad sad, what the hell? He smiled and said something. The protective suit should have made it hard to hear, but I know exactly what he said. Live. I know that was it. I know, we need to give him a higher, massive hugs. This is really sad. As the researchers chatted around me, I remember my father's smile and his last words, but I felt living alone without them would be impossible. All I could think about was how hard it would be to live by myself, but there's no way I could ignore my father's last words. That's why I decided that living would mean finding out what my parents are trying to do. I'm not crying, you are. It was ironic, but gaining powers ensured my livelihood. During the day, I was a normal student, and I researched what my parents left behind. And then at night, I trained how to use my powers. That's when my trauma became apparent. I know I can't allow myself to lose sight of why I'm living, so I've been trying my best so far. But I get confused even now. What will my parents say if they saw me living like this? I'm using powers I didn't want, doing a mission I didn't ask to do, and I'm being forced to fight. And now I'm thinking about using these powers I despise to achieve my goal. Was this what my father meant when he told me to live? If I use these powers to try and face their steps, would they approve? When I start thinking about all those things, I feel like I don't know what to do anymore. He's got a lot in his mind, huh? Mahaya looked at me quietly after he said that. Why? Why are you crying, Cirrus? No, I'm not. Shut up. Only when he said that did I realise tears were streaming down my face. I tried to make them stop, but the waves of emotion I felt made my efforts futile. Mihaya seemed to be at a loss. I haven't cried in a long time, so why would you? I just feel really sad. You've never stopped being your parents' child. I just couldn't hold back tears when I thought of that. What are you talking about? Of course I'm their child. Or are you saying I'm childish? He started to sulk when he said that, so I quickly clarified. I didn't mean that you're childish. What I mean was, the people you've lost will always be in your heart. It's as if they're frozen in time. Since you were there with them at the end, it'll feel even more like that for you. You want them to always be there for you. You want to see them that you want them to see that you're living your life the way they wanted you to. You can't help but wish for that. Thinking through that made me realise something. I'm exactly the same way. It's how I feel about Liz. Mihaya noticed as well. That's what you want, isn't it? I didn't come here to cry. Yeah, I do. I feel that way about Liz. God, I hope the other routes aren't as sad as this one, because I used to pick us up. I know I have no right to think that way because I killed her. But I can't help but wish for it because I loved Liz. And I know she cared deeply for me. That's why I have to live a life she'd be proud of. She might be watching over me, so I have to live in a way that would make her smile. As I spoke to Mihaya, I felt a ray of light break through the smouldering darkness in my heart. I can't ignore how I feel when you put it like that. Mihaya looked up as if he'd made up his mind about something. I've been blindly chasing after what my parents left behind, turning it into a reason to live. But, like you said, maybe I just wanted my parents to approve of what I was doing. I wanted to finish what they started and feel like they would tell me I did a good job. Seeing how calm Mihaya looked in this moment made me think of something. Hey Mihaya, I know you asked if you decided whether to use sap or not, but you don't need to worry about that right now. I think I was able to face my feelings about Liz after talking with you. So, I want time to think about things too, about what I would like to do from now on and what my future might look like. Mihaya seemed to understand what I was suggesting. Alright, then I'll take my time and think about it. I mean, like, it's sad, but it's nice seeing them, like, recover together, you know? I don't want to think about that day. I want to make sure I remember all the fun times I shared with my parents as well. And I need to consider my future too. Whether or not I'll really go outside theatre, and if I'll use SAP to achieve that. I'll give all of it a lot of thought. We agreed to meet at the same place 1 week later for lunch. Just as Mihaya said, I should try remembering all the good times with Liz. Yeah, we miss Liz. Liz, come closer. Liz. We didn't meet or contact each other for the rest of the week. We both understood that we needed time for ourselves. There's too many feels in this route. Miss Liz, I need your support. During that time, we had our balloons missions as well, but I was still thinking about what I should do about the vectors. Ever since becoming part of the balloons, I've just let people decide things for me. No, actually, I think I've always been like that. It's high time I took control of my life. After the week passed, Mihaya and I returned to the empty classroom. Just like before, once we finished lunch, Mihaya kicked off the conversation. Do you mind if I go first? Not at all. I knew this would be an important conversation, so I straightened up and gave Mihaya my full attention. Before we start talking about whether I use my sap or not, I mentioned about thinking about ending things so I could be with my parents. I don't think I'll be doing that. Yes! Yes, Mihaya! Yes! Yes! We did it! We did it, everyone! We did it! Congratulations, Mihaya. Ever since I started talking to you, I started to feel like things could get better. That I had other options. It was the first time I'd ever talked about my parents to someone. I actually felt better talking through everything, but that could be because I was talking to you, Cirrus. My heart warmed when I heard Mihaya's words. It was the same for me. I never talked to anyone about Liz before. It made me feel better too. I'm glad you were the one I talked to, Mihaya. It made me want to think about the future. Mihaya did it! Yeah! I could say that with certainty, that speaking with Mihaya Mihaya back then made me feel like I could not look forward again. I think I read that wrong, but oh well, it's gone now. Actually, speaking of the future, I tried thinking about fun memories I had with my parents, like we talked about. Doing that reminded me of my dream back then. I wanted to become a journalist like my parents. Look at his smile! Look at his smiley face! Oh my god! You mentioned how excited you were when they bought you the camera. I recall what he'd said during our previous conversation, and Mihaya nodded at me, suddenly seeming shy. Do you think I could be like my parents? Yeah, Mihaya! Yeah, you can! I'm sure of it. You have plenty of time ahead of you, Mihaya. You can use it to work towards your dream. Plenty of time. Mihaya pondered those words before looking up. His eyes held no trace of hesitation. Precious smile. It's a smile of a happy boy. I honestly don't know what the future holds. I still have missions with the Blooms, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to choose my own career. But there's no doubt that the option of being a journalist exists. That's why I decided to leave theatre. I want to follow the path my parents took. Interesting. Hold on. Where are we? Where are we? So, like, we have that one and then 4 endings. I think that one's a bad ending because we don't want that one. That's why I decided to leave theatre. I want to follow the path both my parents took. I'll use sap if necessary. I might not have asked for this power, but it's a part of me now. So, I'm going to accept it moving forward. No more denial. Oh my god, we love him recovering! Check him out! Look at him go! I need to let go of all that other stuff and take advantage of my own powers to achieve my goals. I feel like a mother. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so proud of you, Mihaya. Mihaya flashed a courageous smile, giving off a sense of reliability. That's what I've come to after thinking the past week. You did some good thinking, Mihaya. Good thinking. Very nice, yeah. He's doing it. Did you find the answer for yourself? You said I had plenty of time. That means you do as well. What do you plan on doing? I took a moment to gather my thoughts. I don't want anyone else to end up like Liz, but I just don't believe that that indiscriminately taking evacuators down is the right solution. I used the power of waifu. Use the power of become mocker. I still don't know what would be right, but I want to find a different way than just fighting as part of the Blooms. That answer is very you, but I think we've both got a perilous journey ahead. Mihaya smiled despite what he said, and I couldn't help but return one of my own. That may be true, but how about we just start with what we can do right now? What we can do? Don't tell me you plan on going outside theatre with me. That was my intention. Do you not want me to? That lasted, but tea was cold. I thought about it the entire week. I don't think I can allow you to go out there by yourself. Please let me help you. Wherever this leads, I've already sought some outside help. From who? And why do I have a bad feeling about this? Because Ryo is sus! That's why. It was Ryo. I thought we need help getting out of theatre. Mihaya's face clearly told me he didn't like my answer. I told you, he can't be trusted. He knows his shit. I get what you mean, but you also said we were going to take advantage of your power, even though you don't like it. Cold tea. I love iced tea. Iced tea is so yummy, but also it's meant to snow here, so I don't want iced tea at the moment. It's warm tea kind of season. You don't have to like Ryo to trust him, but let's take advantage of all of our resources. I want to help you, Mihaya, and I've decided to do anything I can to do that. My voice came out with such determination that Mihaya jerked back slightly in surprise. I'm grateful you feel that way, but why would you do all this for me? I wasn't quite sure how to answer that question. I thought it over for a bit and then explained what Uncle Yashima told me. When Liz passed away, my guardian, Uncle Yashima, gave me some advice. He told me I shouldn't suffer alone and that I should find someone I could connect with, someone who mirrored my heart. And that's me? Yeah, at first I thought you really had it together despite being younger, which intrigued me. But as we continued to talk, I found out you'd lost loved ones and that you were dealing with trauma from that. I felt we were similar in that regard. I wanted to get closer to you, and that strangely made me look at myself. It was really painful, but I think it also saved me. At the same time, even now, I was focused on what you said, but it also eased some of my burden. Yeah, like, just listen to me, Mihaya. It's fine. Ryo is sus, but we can defeat him. What is Ryo's deal? That's the one thing I don't understand about like all the characters. Like, I don't understand what Ryo's deal is. Maybe when we talked, I was just doing it for myself instead of you. Maybe I'm just a really selfish person. Though, I didn't mean to sound so self-deprecating. Mihaya gave me a serious look. That can't be true. Even if you were doing it for yourself, talking with you still made me happy. He smiled! Smiley boy! You stayed with me, you worked with me, you helped me realize my true feelings. Ryo loves to be sus. Ryo loves to be Red Among Us, man. Red is sus. Cirrus, you being here was for the best. So please don't say things like that. I felt how emotional Mihaya's words were, and I found myself nodding at him. Yeah, thank you. But I still think that he was the one who saved me. See? He just lifted an enormous weight off my shoulders again. Mihaya's words filled me with happiness, and I thanked him with a smile. But then he suddenly averted his gaze. I think I just said something really embarrassing. It's like I can't help but blather on about my feelings when I talk to you. He's blushing again! Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Can you tell me what you talked about with Ryo? Ah, right. Okay, so if you're going to use SAP, I need to find vectors first, right? But we can't do that in the middle of a mission. That's true. It's one of the problems of trying to use SAP for this. Yeah, so I asked Rio if he could tell us where to find some vectors show up outside of a mission. Specifically before they enter Theta, and if possible when they're right outside. And what are you going to do after that? I need to use SAP before I can pass through the gate. Feels like watching a romantic shoujo anime. Yeah, it's a dating sim, of course. Right, so when the vectors are close by, I'll head out and chase them into the colony. If I mess this up, I'd be bringing vectors right into Theta, which might put innocent people in danger. I'd have to execute this plan with extreme care. You'll stay close to the outer wall as possible and be ready to use SAP at any moment. I can't let you do something that dangerous. Besides, how are we going to get outside? Are you thinking Rio will help you again? I know, it's so cute. He's so baby. He's so baby. I already asked him. My immediate answer took Mihaya by surprise. And what did he say? Well, he laughed at me at first. And then he figured it has something to do with Mocha. He told me that we had to ask him together if we were serious about it. At this point, I realised I told Rio much more than I should have. I hung my head in shame. Hey, don't look so down about it. I already told you. I'm glad you're here for me. Oh! I'm liking this route more than Yukinami's, I think. Besides, you're the one who's so adamant we use everything to our advantage, so it's a bit late for this now. I guess you're right. We've already come this far. We might as well get as much help as we can from him as we can. He was willing to hear you out, so he must have some interest in helping. True. Oh, but look at the time. I glanced at the clock and saw we only have 5 minutes left for lunch. Let's meet again after school before we go talk to Rial. Sounds good. We quickly cleaned up our lunches as we made plans and then started to head out. As I opened the door to the hallway, a familiar face popped up in front of us. So, why are you hanging around? Can we? You again. Oh, it's you two. Still hanging out, I see. Bum, 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 bum. Kamui seemed genuinely surprised to see us, so I just talked about running up to a coincidence. I can't speak today. But this is the second time I've run into him when I was with Mihaya. What are the odds, huh? What are the odds, huh? I wasn't thinking about it too seriously, but Mihaya spoke with a more threatening tone. Can we sus? Everyone's sus. What are you doing here? And alone too. It's just a coincidence, I swear! But I know it's rare to see someone like me all by my lonesome, on account of me being popular and all. Way I like him. Your bragging isn't amusing. Oh, Mihaya. You... what? Irascible rascal? What the hell is a rascal? Hold on. Irascible. Having or showing a tendency to be easily angered. Okay. Okay, I see you. Like, I always find this for, like, translations. They always use, like, English words that, like, most English people have never heard of. I can't tell if they're friends or not, but I've never seen Mihaya talk that way to anyone else. I looked between them without saying a word, and then Kamui turned to me with a smile. Never heard that word? I know, I've never heard that word. Okay, be honest with me. What are you two up to? You've been joined at the hip lately, and it seems like you've gotten awfully close all of a sudden. This isn't any of your business, Kamui. Kamui was the type to talk a mile a minute, so Mihaya interrupted him. We're not going to tell you what we were talking about. Okay, no need to be so frosty. He's funny, he's a funny little guy. He's a funny little guy. But let me say just one thing. What's that? I think it's great you two are such good friends. You seem happier, Mihaya. Your whole vibe is more upbeat than before. After saying that, however, Kamui knitted his eyebrows with concern. But be careful. I know. Kamui smiled, but Mihaya frowned with irritation. I thought it odd that Kamui would comment on Mihaya's mood, but perhaps they really do know each other well. We're so dense! We're so dense! Of course he's one of the balloons, for God's sake! They love to jump scare us with words in the translation. They love to make us think we don't know English at all. Let's go, Cirrus. Alright, we gotta get going. Mihaya immediately turned and walked away from Kamui, so I rushed to catch up with him. Alrighty, have fun you two! I like him, he's fun. Kamui watched us go, his face filled with concern, but I didn't notice since I was already walking away with Mihaya. Mihaya and I met up again when school ended, and I went to look for Ryo. I usually see him at the courtyard or the hallway whenever he's at the academy. I considered all the places I've run into Ryo before. Mihaya nodded at me as he looked around. I think I've spotted him. Busted, shithead. Really? Oh yeah, that's him. I followed Mihaya's line of sight and saw Ryo hanging around like he was waiting for us. Let's go talk to him. It looks like he's got something to say to us too. Didn't you want Ryo not to know that you were Mihaya? Mihaya had come to the same conclusion I had. He didn't take his eyes off Ryo as he began walking towards him. I knew you'd come. I heard Ryo mumble that, but Mihaya started speaking right away. I'm going to get right to the point. Would you be able to let us outside without anyone knowing? I might. Oh my god, you saucy little man. Then is it possible for you to tell us when Vex has come near Theta? She asked me that the other day. If you just want to know if it's possible, yes it is. I see. Then I'll ask for your cooperation. Things are moving awfully fast. I hurriedly cut into the conversation. Hold on. What you said implies you'll be going outside too, Mihaya. Or would you just stop at the gate? Of course not. I can endure the pain if it's for a little bit until I use sap. You'll be by my side, won't you? If that's the case, I can do it. Yes, of course, I'll support you with everything I've got. Mihaya's determination was so palpable, and it got me riled up too. Then Ryo spoke up, a hint of teasing in his voice. Hey, you two seem to be a lot closer than I thought. I had no idea. What is your deal, man? What is your deal? I don't mind helping you out, but don't you think you shouldn't lie to me as to why you're doing this? I'm especially intrigued because Mihaya showed up untransformed. It wasn't an unreasonable question. Mihaya gave a small sigh before answering. Given how things have gone, you probably already noticed that she figured out my true identity. So, I didn't think there was any point in hiding it. I want to sort things out as soon as possible. I don't get much of a chance to see you when I'm transformed. And if you want to know why I'm doing this, then look at this. Mihaya drew out the map with a symbol on it and showed it to Ryo. I know we're trying to get to that colony that should be here. That's all. Though, if you know anything about this colony, I'd appreciate if you tell us. can't be the one that all the vectors live in, right? It can't be that one. Mihaya's tone indicated he didn't expect much, but I noticed Ryo's eye widened slightly. We saw the map! No! It's that one, isn't it? Does he actually know about it? But Ryo's expression quickly turned to normal, and I missed my chance to ask him. I can't say anything about that, but you convinced me to help you. You did tell me your objective after all. I'll get in touch the next time vectors come near the colony. You have my contact info, right? Yep. I nodded, remembering how we'd exchanged details when we were on patrol before. Then there should be no problem. And with that, Ryo turned and left without saying anything more. I still don't trust him. Me too. But he said he'd help us. I've been relieved that Ryo agreed to help us, so I was surprised Mihaya still felt that way. He obviously knows something. It can't be the colony where all the vectors are. I'll be really sad. So Mihaya had also noticed how Ryo reacted. That worried me too. What do you think he's not telling us about? Maybe he can't talk about it because of his position, even if he wants to. That's a very generous interpretation. I think he wants us to find out for ourselves. I get the feeling he's testing us. Mihaya's tone was full of annoyance, but then he turned to me to talk about something else. But we're making progress for sure. We should be prepared to go the moment he contacts us. I agree. The idea that we were being tested made me feel uneasy. I'm going to keep checking the flowchart because I want to save it right before we get into any of the years, so it'll be easier to go back and get multiple, you know? But we come too far to turn back. Our only way was forward. Fade to black. Nighttime a few days later. Mihara and I made our way to the gate in the administrative district. Ryo contacted us right before our curfew. There he is. I see him. Busted. What were you doing, Ryo? Ryo was already standing by the gate. I'm sure you have a specific reason for picking this gate in particular. Ryo directed that comment at Mihaya, so I turned to look at him. Mihaya already seemed to be in pain. Yes, I know it'll make the route to our destination longer, but it's meaningful to me to go through here. Mihaya, are you alright? I'm okay, but we should hurry. There's always the chance someone might see us. He's right. Come on, I fixed things so you can pass through the gate. Ryo shepherded us towards the gate, and for some reason, the regular security guard was nowhere to be found. What did you do? I'll get you back in when you return. Just call me. Alright, let's go, Mihaya. Okay. I still didn't know how much we could trust Ryo, but right now, there was no doubt he'd come through for us. Ryo levels of Yabai. I know. Like, this whole thing fills me with absolute dread trusting Ryo. With renewed resolve, we passed through the gate. We saw a figure shambling around when we got outside. Look, is that a vector? At least Ryo was serious when he said he'd help us. Yeah, you should hurry and use sap on it. Mocha was already showing signs of pain, but I knew we didn't have a moment to spare. I carefully took her hand and started running. Just in case. We'll cast Augment. I decided to use Augment on Mocha so that her sap ability will be even more effective sooner. Mocha, I'm going to use Augment. I took her hand and charged my energy, unleashing Augment. The effects appeared right away. Thank you. I can do this now. Mokka let go of my hand and headed towards the vector. Take that! She dodged to swing from the vector and then circled around it, reaching her hand up to touch its back. I couldn't see her from where I was standing, but I just assumed she cast Sap just then. It worked! Alright, let's do this! Yeah! I felt a little sorry for the vector, but we were also using it for our own goals. But we also couldn't let it wander around near Theta. We worked together and took down the vector. The battle was over in no time once Mokka absorbed the vector's strength. Are you feeling in any pain? I asked Mokka after we defeated the vector, and she took a few breaths before giving her answer. Yeah, I think I'm fine, but I don't know how long it'll last. We have to find another vector before the effect wears off. Then let's move. Where do we go from here? Mokka pulled out a map. If we want to take the shortest route, it's best to follow Theta's border. The administrative district gate is far from our destination. But your parents left through that gate? Yes, and if memory serves, they walked with Theta at their backs. I remember watching as Theta shrank farther and farther in the distance. I wonder if your parents wanted to look into something else before going to the colony. I don't know, but I'll try and retrace their steps. We might discover something by doing so. Alright, let's go. Wandering around in the wastelands. A thick, ominous cloud hung over the sky outside, making it so dark we could barely see. We only had a small light to illuminate our path as we moved forward. Mokka would cast Sap every time we encountered a vector, but for the most part we hid under cover of darkness and continued on. I'm worried about Mokka getting tired, so I have to make sure we avoid unnecessary fights. It must have been draining for her to continuously lose Sap on the vectors. I kept an eye on Mokka's condition and secretly thought about how we'd retreat if it looked like she wouldn't be able to go on. Feeling like Fallout. Just feeling like any apocalyptic game. Mokka spoke up right when the sky was beginning to brighten. I see some vectors over there. Let's get further away so they don't spot us. Are you sure you don't need to cast Sap again? Or are you tired? I thought maybe my hunch had been right, but Mokka just gave a vague reply. It's not that I'm tired. I actually changed directions a little while ago so we could head straight for the other colony. I thought that trying to retrace my parents' footsteps in the dark wouldn't really tell us much. The suffocating feeling I had is mostly gone now. I don't know how I feel about that. You changing the directions. I don't know how I feel about that one. That's good, but if that's the case, then we probably shouldn't have gone when the sun was out. I said that, but I knew full well that if we wanted to leave Theta in secret, doing so at night was the only way to do it. It was too late for regrets anyways. The plan wasn't realistic from the start. I think it's good enough that we came this far. Are you getting cold feet? Besides, I have a feeling Sap's efficiency is decreasing. What? Really? Her declaration shocked me, but Mokka seemed rather calm about it. It's alright, I expected it. I have an idea to why it's happening. Anyway, we should try heading to the colony. I doubt they let us in, but we won't have to worry if we can reach the outer wall. We'll stay hidden until it gets brighter, and then after looking around, we can go back to Theta. I'm worried about what could be weakening her Sap ability, but it wasn't the time to be hanging around talking with vectors nearby. Alright, how long do you think it will be until we can get to the colony? I can't tell from just the map, but we should be close. Got it, then we'll prioritize getting to the colony for now. We chose our route carefully so the vectors wouldn't notice us, but as we moved on, we sensed another presence up ahead. I know that voice. Oh no. Hey look, now there's a rare sight. We heard a cheerful voice ring out incoherently. Hello? What on earth is that word? Amidst our grim surroundings, a familiar face stepped out from behind a building. Google's another word. Ently. Google says it's a chemistry word. The process of melting something, affecting the components of an alloy or another substance differently. What is incurrent behavior? Okay, this makes more sense. Incongruent behavior in people is when there is a misalignment between the real self and the ideal self. So maybe they're saying that he sounds really cheerful, but he's an actual bastard, you know? I think that's what this is meaning. Yeah, because he's cheerful and winning like a wasteland. So that'll be what that means. Why are these words in here? A familiar face then stepped out from behind a building. We got rid of you! You're in jail! We got rid of you! Yukinami? Once again, another weird word, yeah? You're right. What are they doing out here? Who are you? A young man stood behind Yukinami. I thought I'd seen him before, but I couldn't remember who he was. Me? I'm Ibuki. I didn't sense any maliciousness in his smile, but the fact he was with Yukinami put me on my guard. Moko must have thought the same thing because she was already poised to fight. Oi, you let the lads out! Put them back! Put them back! Yukinami, how did you get out of jail? What are you doing here? What we are doing here is none of your business. Moko's defiant attitude made Ibuki smile, though he looked slightly troubled. That's where you're wrong. Even if you won't tell us what's going on, the only thing you could be aiming for is our colony. Yeah, it is theirs. I knew it. Your colony? His words were surprising. I couldn't quite process them. Ibuki continued on. So you don't even know what it is, even though you're heading there? It's where the Vectors and the rest of us live. A colony of Vectors? What are you talking about? I was certainly surprised what Ibuki said, but Moko sounded even more shocked. But that would mean Mihaya's parents are trying to investigate a colony that had Vectors living in it. Did they know? Perhaps they didn't. Just what was going on in there? Moko and I fell silent after Ibuki told us that, and Yukinami chimed in. Well, that's enough of that. Let's get him. You never change, do you, Yukinami? I started when I heard Yukinami's voice dripping with them. Started when I heard Yukinami's voice dripping with murderous intent. Okay. I guess that's the sentence. Moko, Yukinami's coming for us. Hold on. Where are we? Okay. It's time! Our revenge! Kill! Right when I called that out, Yukinami vanished before our eyes. I have to fight. As I readied myself for battle, I sensed a presence filled with bloodlust appear right next to me. Gah! Aw, bummer, you blocked it. How about I try this side? I managed to evade his attack, but Yukinami was already going in for another strike. Not so fast. Mocha turned to attack Yukinami, but he blocked it. Ow! Alright, I'll give you that, but it'll take more than a few tricks to beat me. Yukinami, I'm tired of this. I fight with Yukinami continued for a while. The young man who called himself Ibuki simply stood by idly observing us. We're still at a disadvantage. We're not used to fighting outside the colony, but Yukinami's completely fine. Every time I tried to attack, Yukinami would run and take cover at the exact right moment. Then he'd suddenly pop out and leap at us, and we'd stumble to dodge his attacks. Ooh, that was a bad noise. Mocha! Woohoo! A direct hit. Shaking my head. After a few exchanges, Yukinami managed to land a solid kick, sending Mocha flying backwards. Are you okay? I rushed to Mocha's aid, but she held up her hand to stop me while keeping her eyes trained on Yukinami. I'm fine. I deflected the damage. Oh, I get it. You use your ability to break your fall, but you seem weaker than usual. Were you always like this? Yukinami's words made me feel uneasy. Mocha's slower than she normally is, and she said sap was less effective right now. I had a bad feeling about this. Ibuki, who'd been quiet up with now, suddenly interrupted us. You know, I heard a few years back that some humans tried to visit our colony. Uh-oh. They had difficulty getting there, though. That's... Distracted by what Ibuki said, Mocha took her eyes off Yukinami for a brief moment. Yukinami lunged as if he were waiting for that exact opportunity. That's going to be the bad ending for sure. He's an idiot. Let's shout at him. Stop! Yukinami glanced at me when I shouted. It looked like he might stop. But after a brief moment, he continued towards her. Mocha! I knew in that moment I couldn't stop him, so I jumped in front of Mocha and embraced her. What? No, is this the bad ending? Mocha let out a surprised shriek as I felt a powerful shock to my head. Why did you... Cirrus? Why do I always pick the bad endings? I heard Mocha's voice as my consciousness faded. But I found I couldn't respond as soon as I plunged into darkness. Wait. Is this not a bad ending? My head ached with a dull pain as I opened my eyes and saw an unfamiliar ceiling.
Senpai.
I'm so glad you're all right. It's not a bad ending! We did it! We did it! I looked over from at Mihaya's worried gaze. Where am I? What happened? I vaguely remember getting attacked by Yukinami, so it was strange that we were all right. We did it! Didn't we lose them? Why are we... We're the place we were looking for. It's a colony called Tau. And Ibuki, Yukinami, and the other vectors live here. It is a bad ending? Huh? I'm very confused. It's a bad ending, it's just not the bad ending we thought it would be. Ibuki told me exactly what is this place? What is this place? What this place is. Mihaya then proceeded to fill me in on everything. I mean, like, at least it's a bad end where we don't die this time. My stomach turned hearing all the details. So the higher-ups knew about everything and purposely hushed things up? Yeah, we skipped bad 2 and went straight to bad 3. In addition to that, it's like my parents are murdered by the higher-ups. That's what Ibuki said. What? But didn't you say their protective suits were damaged? What he said was so disturbing, I couldn't help but shout in surprise. The higher-ups tampered with them. They must have thought my parents would publicize their findings. They killed them by making it look like an accident. That's terrible. What else could I say? As I waffled over my response, the door quietly opened and we saw Ibuki standing there. Oh, you're awake. Then let's pick up from where he left off. I think it's the first time we had a proper conversation with Ibuki. What do you mean? Would you be willing to help us? You've already come this far, so I had the feeling you might agree to it. Ibuki's sudden suggestion took me by surprise, and Mihaya cautiously asked for clarification. Helping you means fighting on the Vector side, right? Perhaps, if that's how you see it. His ambiguous answer did nothing to elude Mihaya's question. Eludicate? I don't know. Alright then, okay. We'll join you. Mihaya, what are you saying? It had been too easy for him to make that decision. I couldn't help but feel uneasy about it. Look, if what they say is true, then the higher-ups are everyone's enemy. I'll never forgive the people that murdered my parents. Uh-oh. This is taking a bad turn. But are you going to hurt innocent people? That's wrong too. The higher-ups are the ones who are wrong. They're the reasons Vectors attack humans. Oh, he's so angry. I could sense Mihaya's thinking was becoming too extreme, but there was nothing I could do to stop him. My pleas fell on deaf ears as Mihaya ended up leaving the room with Ibuki. I'm going with Ibuki and the rest of them. Please, just wait here, Cirrus. Let's get this done. Oh, we're back at the Yukinami. Yeah. He shrink. Yeah, he's definitely being lied to. I'm gonna use SAP now, okay? Perfect. Now all that's left is to get over to the research district. What you call them again? The higher-ups. We're going after them, right? Yep. We'll start with the researchers though. They're the ones who turned us into what we are, so they'll be the first to taste our revenge. Oh no. Oh no. I'm going to annihilate them. Of course you love it, you little bastard man. Good luck. Same to you. Oh no. Who's that? Who's there? Oh shit. What? Why are you here? Why? I told you to wait. Oh no. Uh-oh. This is not what I was expecting to happen at all. Why did I attack? I looked up and saw tears stream down Mihaya's face as the world around. Yeah, so we do die in this ending then. Okay. I wanted to stop you, Mihaya. This can't be how your parents wanted you to live. I was unable to speak clearly after that. It looks like I'll be leaving Mihaya's side. I wish I didn't have to do this to him right now. Mihaya. I wanted to touch him one last time as I reached out with my hand, but I didn't know if I managed to touch his tear-stained face. Oh my god. Oh my god. I know, I was like, oh wow, bad ending where we don't die. Nope, that's wrong. And I would never be able to find out. Oh my... Yeah? Yeah, we are continuing Mihaya. Well, we died again. We'll go with this again. Yeah, I found skip mode. I remembered the button. Skip through this bit till we get to the next options. The high speed, like, punching noise, right? I thought this would be a bad end. Maybe it won't be. Oh, it wasn't. It was good. This is a good choice. Mocha. My body jumped forward of its own accord as I rushed to Mocha's side and flung her out the way. Mocha gasped. Again. Mocha gasped with surprise right as I felt a powerful shock to my head. Why did you Cirrus? Ah! I heard Mocha's voice as my consciousness faded. Please not again. But I found I couldn't respond and the student plunged into darkness. So this better not be the same as before. Okay. I'm just gonna skip through a little bit. I'm gonna skip through a bit just to make sure it's like not the same as before. I hope it's not the same. I think it is the same. Okay, right, yeah. I think it's the same. So maybe we need to all pick this. Let's try this instead. Hearing my voice, Mocha readied herself after a moment's delay. Our castle augment, we're going to have to go all out. Got it. Mocha agreed to my plan immediately. She knew Yukinami wouldn't be an easy opponent. I made sure Yukinami wouldn't get too close as I cast augment on Mocha. It's done. Our fight with Yukinami continued for a while. The young man who called himself Ibuki simply stood idly by, observing us. We're still at a disadvantage. We're not used to fighting outside the colony, but we've read this dialogue before, hold on. Okay, so does this literally not matter which one before we pick? Okay, well, the one option we didn't pick. Mocha, watch out! I immediately shouted a word of warning. I was too late. Okay, well, we didn't get hit this time. Yukinami's attached at the side of Mocha's head before she even knew what was happening. Okay, so the answer to this one is someone else gets hit instead of us. Oh, what? Hold on. Then how do we get the good endings? What is going on? Oh, I didn't mean to kill. What is going on in this room? Yukinami's voice echoed around me as I ran to Mocha. So why did that didn't kill us? Why has it killed Mocha? Yukinami's voice echoed around me as I ran to Mocha and tried to hold her up. Mocha! Mocha! I desperately called out to her, but her eyes remained shut. Soon she turned back into Mihaya. Mihaya, no! No! It reminded me of holding Liz when she was gravely wounded. But unlike then, Mihaya's body gradually turned cold in my arms. Where is the good end? Where is it? I have an idea. Mihaya. It doesn't matter how many times I called his name. Mihaya would never open his eyes again. Oh my god. I'm fed up with bad endings. Another loved one had died right before my eyes. I shook with disbelief and despair as despair overwhelmed me. My mind went blank, unable to think about anything. Right. I'm gonna try this instead. Because like our levels are already set in our save file. So if we go low and then low ability and high affection, that should get us an ending. I'm gonna fast forward through it though. Yeah, hopefully we'll actually get an ending this time. I think this is how the game works. I'm not too sure. but it's the only thing I can think of. So, it's the only option we have left. We've clicked every other choice in this stupid thing. Okay, we'll distract the vector. I circled around the other side of the vector, so it'll be easier for Mocha to use Sap on it. I still feel a little sick when I face the vector head on. I did my best to encourage Mocha while also trying to handle my own trauma. Ha! I dodged as the vector took a big swing at me. Mocha, you Sap while I keep it busy. Got it. Here we go. Success. It's done. Let's do this. Alright. I felt a little sorry for the vector because we were using it for our own goals, but we also couldn't let it wander near theatre. Okay, so we read that bit before. Okay, let's keep fast forwarding now. We've done the one different bit of dialogue and now it's all the same again. We're walking and we're walking. And then Yukinami appears. Oh. Oh. Murder. Once again, we are murdering Yukinami. Thank you, skip button. So that one's a definite no. Let's jump for a mocker, I guess. I think it's the same, like, outcome either way. I'll skip through this bit because I think it's still the same dialogue as before. Okay, so we're passing out again. Please put us on a good end. Please, please put us on a good end. I groaned as I woke with a dull ache in my head. At the same time, I sensed someone next to me.
Senpai.
Cirrus, you're awake. Okay, this is different. This is different. Where am I? I slowly opened my eyes and immediately Mihaya's worried face came into view. I could see an unfamiliar ceiling above us. It looked like we'd been moved inside somewhere. Okay, same place, but different dialogue, so this is a good sign. Yes! We did it! This is the colony we're trying to get to. In other words, we're in their colony. After he told me that, Mihaya went to a chair and sat down. That's when I noticed Ibuki standing next to him. Glad to see you're awake. There was no hostility in his voice and he smiled at me. Mihaya, on the other hand, seemed irritated. You're glad? Your goon was the one who attacked her. How can you say that? And why did you bring us here? Happy! Mihaya gets to smile on this ending. And why did you bring us here? Why not just kill us? What's even your position here? You seem to have powers too. Mihaya made his animosity clear, but Ibuki was unfazed. Calm down, I'm going to explain. About me, well, to put in your terms, I'm on the Vector's side. Yukinami did attack her, but I made sure the damage was minimal. We know very well that Yukinami will not be stopped. You would have been in trouble had it been a clean hit. I actually expected you to thank me for treating your wounds and letting you rest in bed. Shut up. Ibuki sulked a little as he shrugged, and I realised I was on actual bed. My head still hurt, but as Ibuki pointed out, I could tell my wounds had been treated and bandaged. Thank you for treating me, but I still have my doubts. If you're on Yukinami's side, does that make you our enemy? So why do this? You really want to rush through things. How are you feeling right now? Ibuki tilted his head to the side and scrutinized me with a worried expression. That only made me more confused. I'm fine, see? I can get up now. Please tell us the reason why. There's no way we can be calm if we don't know what's going on. Mihaya placed his hand on my back to assist me as I sat up. Sweet. I get that you're not planning on attacking us. At least not right now. But like she said, we don't know what's going on, and you're not exactly someone we just have a friendly chat with. Mihaya repeated his concerns, and Ibuki shrugged again. Alright then, you were clearly agitated when I heard what you said earlier. You mean when I said there were some humans who tried to visit this colony? That's right. Did you know them? They were... I think they were my parents. Oh, so the main difference is, like last time, Ibuki had this conversation with him while we were asleep. Mihaya hesitated slightly before telling him. Ibuki nodded deeply with understanding. I see. I'm so terribly sorry for you. Why do you say that? I guess you know what happened to them, but there's no need for you to express any sympathy. Mihaya brushed off his words, but Ibuki still looked at Mihaya with pity. I'm not just sorry because of your parents' untimely death. I'm sorry for both of you because you're so ignorant. Oof. Oof. Just what exactly are you referring to? It's true that there's still many things we don't know about. I shouted without thinking while Mihaya continued to question Ibuki. We left theater so we could find out what my parents were investigating at that time. So, we're well aware that there are many things we still don't know about theater. But from how you said that, I don't think that's what you meant. Why would you say you're sorry for us? Because your parents were most likely killed, and I guess you don't know that. Ibuki's tone was so casual for a brief moment, I thought I had no idea what was going on.
Huh?
What? Killed by whom? By the humans who didn't want them to find out about this place, of course. He sounds so sad. Humans who didn't want them to find out? Ibuki ignored Mihaya's agitation and continued speaking like it was some trivial matter. By the way, you know vectors used to be humans, right? We do, but why bring that up? The sudden change in subject had practically given me whiplash. Ibuki looked at me curiously. And you never wondered where all the people who turned to vectors go? I'm sure you saw how the researchers weren't surprised by humans turning into vectors. That's because it happens all the time. Did you think vectors were just dropped outside theater and left to their own devices? We getting law? Wouldn't that be too risky? They'd probably want to cage them up somewhere. So you're saying this place is that cage? Yep. All the top brass in theater know about it. They know about it and they let us run free. Then the reason why my parents ended up the way they did was... After we talked through everything, I understood why Ibuki suddenly changed the subject. And because of that, I was afraid to hear what Ibuki had to say next. It's likely one of your leaders planned it. Your parents figured out what they were hiding. They were hiding something here, and that it wasn't good. Perhaps they planned to expose everything, but your leaders found out and had them dealt with. It sounds like something they would do. This isn't very happy. Though this is admittedly conjecture, based on second-hand information. You don't have to believe me. Ibuki said exactly what I thought he would. He was so blunt about it too. Mihaya and I remained speechless while Ibuki seemed perplexed by our reaction. Oh? You're actually surprised? But you already knew your leaders weren't exactly an ethical bunch. I understood his point, but my mind was all over the place. But I just had to ask about one more thing. Ibuki, you still haven't told us why you spared us. Why would you let us live and tell us all this? I was finally able to speak again. Ibuki stared as if he just remembered something. Oh, right. I was thinking of offering you two a deal. What kind of deal? Well, I'd rather there was a chance that you two would join our side. If you help us, I'll let you go back to Theta. Help you? You mean you want us to kill people? My heart jolted when Mihaya said that, but Ibuki smiled calmly. If that's how you interpret it, then maybe. I started to panic more when I saw he didn't confirm or deny it. Mihaya and I would kill people. There's no way we can do that. Well, go ahead and think about it. You have plenty of time. Oh my god. What is happy about this ending? We grew quiet after that, so Ibuki slipped out of the room, leaving us in silence. We remained silent for some time after Ibuki had gone, trying to process the facts given to us. What he said is probably the truth. Mihaya spoke up first. He didn't look at me. He seemed to still be digesting the information. I've always wondered about it. The way my parents died was odd. It seemed too convenient that protective suits will malfunction like that. We're so happy right now. The path they took to get here was strange too. It looks like they had them take a longer route. If all that's true, that means I've been following orders of the people who killed my parents. Mihaya's words pierced through my heart. He was talking about the higher-ups, in other words, the ones making the Blooms fight the Vectors. They knew what the Vectors were and hid it from us. Moravia's group had found the Vectors and led them to attack Theta. Perhaps the higher-ups didn't anticipate that, but instead of handling things directly, they had us fight the Vectors without telling us anything. We weren't heroes at all, not in the slightest. At the very least, the higher-ups only thought of us as exterminators who got rid of things they didn't want the rest of Theta to know about. I couldn't help but think of it that way. I absolutely despised them. Ooh, he mad. They murdered my parents for their own selfish reasons. They used me. And they forced us to do their dirty work by taking the Vectors and fighting Ibuki and Moravia's crew. I hate all of it. Had they not done all that, then you wouldn't have suffered either, Cirrus. Oh, he's mad. Upon hearing my name, I looked up into Mihaya's face and saw sadness reflected in his eyes. I want to kill them. Damn that voice acting though! My heart tightened as he choked out those words. I couldn't help but reach out my hand to him. Please don't say that. I grasped Mihaya's arm, pleading with him. Don't say that. If you go through with it, it can never be undone. Why are you trying to stop me? Why are you trying to stop me? They killed my parents! I'm asking you to slow down because it clearly pained you even though you wanted to... it clearly pained you to even say you wanted to kill them. Is that what you really want? Your father told you to live, and this is how you plan to move forward? I knew it was unfair to frame it like that, but I desperately wanted Mihaya to reconsider what he was saying. I was certain the path he was considering wouldn't lead to happiness. But it feels like this hatred's all-consuming. How am I ever going to feel better if I don't get revenge? It sounds like Mihaya already foreclosed any other opinion, any other option. I didn't know what else I could say at this point. Hey, Mihaya, how about we go outside for a little bit? We're at the place your parents are trying to get to, but we haven't looked around yet. I hope this might lift his spirits, even just a little. After I suggested it, Mihaya readily agreed. Yeah, it sounds like a good idea that I just skipped over. I've forgotten what the, what was the... What was the instruction for the... What was the control for... Okay, well, I can't find the backlog thing. I found it before, and now I can't find it. Can you walk? I stood up cautiously and found there were no issues with my balance. Yeah, everything seems fine.
じゃあ行きましょう。
Then let's go. I don't like this. I walked outside with Mihaya and noticed how bright it was inside the dome during the day. The sky above was the same artificial one as in theatre, but our surroundings were completely different.
寂しいところですね。
Such a desolate place. For real. As Mihaya said, the town around us looked like wasteland compared to theatre. Desolate was the most accurate way to describe it. I jumped when I heard some vectors baying. Baying? Is that what they call it when they... The vectors bay? But then I remembered it was normal for them to be here. I turned to look at the source of the sound. I saw vectors were actually much closer than I thought. He wasn't kidding. This really is a home for the vectors. Yeah, but none of them are trying to approach us. I wonder if they're sleeping. I could see vectors lying about on the street. Their tranquil positions indicated they were much more peaceful than the ones we'd seen before. It's odd. It feels like we're the ones who don't belong here. I wonder what my mother and father would have said if they'd be able to see this. Mihaya looked far into the distance. It was as though he was directing his words to his parents. My parents are both pretty cheerful, so they might not have been scared of the vectors. I can't imagine my father. I can just imagine my father saying, "Oh, what do we have here? Why, it's some kind of rare creature." Mihaya then fell silent as he observed the vectors. He spoke up again after a short while. Hey, Cirrus, I've been thinking. I'm scared. I don't think my parents were trying to expose the higher-ups in the beginning. They simply wanted to explore some place they hadn't been before. I think they were just curious about what could be here. They were both the type to act before thinking. Of course, they probably did get the feeling they were doing something dangerous along the way. My mother didn't want me to go with them. I know things ended tragically, but I wonder if they would really ask me to avenge them. That's what we've been trying to say! They probably wouldn't. It wouldn't be like them. Mihaya smiled slightly as he said that, and I caught a glimpse of tears in his eyes. He's crying! Yeah, I think your impression of your parents is exactly right. If you can't picture them saying that, then they weren't the kind who would seek revenge. I don't believe they were either. Mihaya was still trying to find an answer. Even then, he was in pain. I agreed with him from the bottom of my heart. I've come to a decision. I'm going to make this place known to the public. I'll tell them what it is and who lives here. I might end up exposing the higher-ups' wrongdoings, but I'm going to do it in a way that honours my parents' memory. I'm not trying to assault the higher-ups or ruin them, not at all. I just want to carry out what my parents would have done had they made it here. The hatred and the sadness I feel won't go away, but I can carry the weight and overcome it. Yeah, Mihaya's picking himself back up. Isn't that right? What Mihaya said struck a deep chord within me. Yes, that's right. I'm never going to forget. I'll never banish these things from my memory. I'll carry that weight and overcome it too. We stayed where we were for a while longer, but soon decided to look for Ibuki. I'll try and negotiate with him so we can go back to theatre. Although, I don't know if Ibuki will think the exposing the higher-ups would be helpful to him. We won't know until we try. It's worth giving it a shot. That said, we had no idea where Ibuki was and we weren't sure if we should go wandering around. I walked down the street a little way, but I didn't find Ibuki, let alone Yukinami or Hyuga. We decided it best to return to our room. What if Ryo just shows up like, oh, hey guys. I was surprised to find you weren't in your room. Where'd you go? I didn't know how long you'd been waiting, but we ran into Ibuki immediately upon returning to our room. Mihara and I both felt a little put out. We were looking for you. Though I suppose it was our fault for not asking where we could find you. If we're going to strike a deal, I'll need to know more about your side of things. Mihaya's stipulations seemed to amuse Ibuki. You didn't seem willing to agree to a deal earlier. But considering what you just said, I assume you're ready now. It may be different than what you wanted from us. But we're going to expose what the higher-ups are doing. That's why we want you to let us go back to Theta. I see. So you will help us then? Mihaya shook his head. I don't know if we can help you, but what we know is that you think how the humans are doing things is wrong. They just lock people up when they turn to vectors and pretend they don't exist. And to top it off, they send people like us to defeat you when you try to fight back. Given all that, it's no wonder you don't like them. That's why you attack Theta. You don't agree with them simply casting you aside. That's right, it's all very convenient for them. Then, are you saying you'll do what we want? A gleam entered Ibuki's eye just then, so I quickly jumped in. We won't do everything you want. Shut up! But if, say, we can make it so the vectors won't be killed unnecessarily, would you be satisfied with that? I talked with Mihara about the details of the deal when we were looking for Ibuki. I don't know if it would go over well, but it was likely the only thing we could do. If you won't agree to this, we'll be forced to break out of here and run away, but I'd like to avoid that if all possible. Ibuki pondered our proposal and soon gave us his answer. I suppose that'll have to do for now. Alright, go ahead and go back to Theta, but I'm going to set some limits on this deal. Uh-oh. You have to expose them within half a year. Also, you need to immediately quit the blooms. I mean, fair. As for my end of the deal, I'll make sure Yukinami, Hyuga, and the Vectors don't attack Theta during that period. I have a feeling it'll be hard to just stop Yukinami from attacking the Vectors. Yeah. At that, Ibuki let out a laugh. You've got a good read of him. He's definitely a bit of a handful. Hyuga is too. I'm hoping he'll agree since there's a time limit, but I'm not 100% certain. You sure it'll be okay? I get the feeling this deal of ours was destined to fail, regardless of what we did, but Ibuki just gave us a short nod. It'll be fine. Those two always listen to me in the end. I mean, you're alive right now, aren't you? I mean, yeah, I guess, okay. Now that you mention it, Ibuki was the one who stopped Yukinami during the fight. Seeing how Yukinami and Hyuga hadn't shown their faces since we'd been here, I could easily imagine it was because Ibuki told them to lie low. Wait, what about Moravia? Do you plan on convincing her as well? Oh, honey. It felt a bit late to bring this up, but we hadn't discussed Moravia yet. Ibuki quickly reassured me. She'll be fine with it. Moravia's much more understanding than Yukinami or Hyuga. I'm not so sure about that, but I believe in you, so I'd like you to believe in us too. I can't say half a year will be enough time, but I'm going to do this. Then it's a deal. Be aware if you betray us or don't keep your promise within the time frame, I will mobilize the greatest force we have and attack Theta. Oh, scary. Well, best of luck. Ibuki maintained a smile, even as he threatened us. His composure was chilling. And it wasn't just his calm smile. It was the deal itself seemed to be insignificant to him. It might be my imagination, but I think Ibiki has different plans. That's the vibe I'm getting. But right now, we have to do what we were tasked with. I decided to push all my doubts to the back of my mind. So, it's alright for us to go back to theatre now? Of course. But just hold on a second. Ibiki vanished for a moment, then returned carrying something. A protective suit? Oh, thanks, but we don't need a suit if we transform, so... After that, Ibiki turned to Mihaya and held the suit out to him. This is for you. I think you'll need it. Why? Mihaya didn't respond or take the suit. Seeing that, Ibiki continued. I've seen you fight, but your powers seem to be waning. Oh? You're probably having trouble transforming. Am I wrong? What? It was true, Mihara had been slower in fights, but I didn't think it was that serious. I still couldn't believe it, but Mihaya didn't deny what Ibiki said and reached for the protective suit. I'll take it if you're offering. Ibiki's right. Now, let's go. We already know how tough it is to walk out there in the dark. If we leave now, we should be able to make it back by sundown. Right, we should hurry then. I wanted to ask Mihaya why his powers are weakened to the point he couldn't transform, but right now, our top priority was getting back. I kept my questions to myself and began preparing to leave. We departed immediately and managed to get back to theatre by the time the sun set, as Mihaya predicted. Are you able to get a hold of Ryo? I'm calling him right now, but... Oh, he picked up! We'd only been gone for a day, but so many things had happened since we'd left theatre that hearing Ryo's voice made me feel nostalgic. I told Ryo we wanted to come back through the gate as soon as and soon we heard a voice hailing us a short distance away. This way. Muffled. This way. Didn't he get here awfully fast? It's like he knew we were coming. This is the first time I contacted him since we left theatre. Let's just get inside for now. We can't hang around out here. I was also confused at how Ryo got here so quickly, but Mihaya had a point. We jogged up to the gate. Ryo, thanks for coming. You got here really fast. I had an idea you'd be coming back around now. But how did you know? You should actually talk to Masaki if you want to discuss what you saw out there. That's what you should be concerned with right now. Based on what he said, Ryo seemed to have an idea of what we discovered. I have so many things I want to ask you, but I'll save them for later. Like he said, we should talk to the commander as soon as possible. We'll have to consult him on what the balloons will do, and the commander's the only person who can ask for help. Yeah, you're right. Masaki should be in the command center. Alright, we'll check it out. We thanked Ryo and hurried off to the command center. Yay, I miss you! We entered, the commander turned slowly towards us. He didn't seem surprised to see us at all. It was like he'd been waiting for us. Ryo told me where you went, so now you've seen it. He told you, huh? And that means you knew about the colony. The commander confirmed with a nod. I wasn't surprised in the least. Commander, what exactly is your role in all of this? I thought only the higher-ups would know about the colony, but if you know, then you're more than just the commander of the balloons. Who are you, sir? This time the commander shook his head. If you think I'm on their side, you're wrong. I do know everything, but in truth, I'm just a coward who can't do anything about it. That's all. You know everything, including what happened to my parents? Uh-oh. That's right. And yet you made me work for the blooms? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mihaya was shaking next to me, so I gently touched his arm. He wasn't incensed though. He just kept a steady gaze on the commander. You say you're a coward, and you've been waiting for us here. That means you're prepared to face us. If so, then show us your conviction. The both of us have decided we're going to shoulder everything and overcome it. That's why we're asking you to join us. We're allowed to do that at least, right? The commander gave us a gentle smile when he heard Mihaya's words. It looked like he was relieved, as if he'd been waiting for this moment for a long time. Yes, I'll join you. I may be pathetic, but I'm not so much just to stand by while you kids try and overcome all these hardships. I knew I liked the commander. Then I won't hold back. Mihaya approached him. For some reason, the commander opened up his arms. I'm going to tell you right now, there'll be no hugging or anything like that. I still don't trust you. He just wants a hug. Ha. He wanted a hug. Oh my god. Well, that's a shame. The commander had resumed his usual carefree attitude. I watched as Mihaya shook hands with the commander, then I ran over to join them. What's going on? Time flew by after we found out the truth, and before we knew it, a week had passed. We had to keep moving forward in order to make Ibuki's deadline, so we prioritised planning how we were going to expose the truth. After classes ended one day, Mihara and I met in the empty classroom for the first time in a while. What? Someone else is going to help us? Yes, a journalist who worked with my parents got in touch with me. I vaguely remembered her from when I met her at my parents' funeral. She contacted me yesterday, saying she wanted to meet. Then what happened? She also had suspicions about my parents' death, and I offered to help if I needed it. That's great, it sounds like she'll be a big help. I'm surprised she knew about your contact info. What perfect timing too! I think the commander, well, Mr. Kuromori did something. He did? I was thinking about getting help from journalists to expose the higher-ups, and Mr. Kuromori asked about my parents' acquaintances. I didn't have any of their contact information, but I showed him my parents' book, and he got in touch with the publisher. Then he went to contact every journalist that had been affiliated with my parents. Whoa! That's dedication. One of them was one I met with yesterday. Oh, I see! And that's not just her. A few others saying they were willing to cooperate too. It's impossible for us to do all this alone, if I'm being honest. Having professional journalists with us is much more reassuring. You're back? Welcome back! We got home. And we had to expose the big secrets in half a year. And the commander's joining us and he's helping us out. And the commander wanted a hug, and Mihaya told him to eat shit and die. That's all you've missed. Yeah, it's really great. As I said that, I thought about how Mihaya seemed to trust Mr. Kumamori more than anyone else. Mr. Kumamori was as good as his word and continued to help us. He'd proven that we could trust him from this past week alone. Thanks to Mr. Kumamori, we were able to confirm what Ibuki said was true. He told us all we knew about the higher-ups, and that the people like Liz who had turned into vectors were sent to Tau, the colony where Ibuki lived. Some of the researchers knew about it too. And those researchers on the higher-up knew about Ibuki's group using the vectors to attack Theta. They kept that information from us, just telling the blooms that the vectors were naturally occurring, we had to eliminate them. Mr. Komori didn't give us this information solely through his position as our commander. He utilized his own sources to learn more about Tao. After I learned about this, Rio's readiness to receive us back when we returned to Theta made a lot more sense. He told us he still can't reveal his sources though. Mr. Kuramori, I reckon it's Uncle Yashima. Mr. Kuramori said that if you revealed his sources were, it would affect me, though not Mihaya. It's Uncle Yashima. I'm curious about it, but there's more pressing matters, like Mr. Kuramori helping us trick the researchers. There had been no new attacks, Ibiki promised, but we couldn't suspend all the Bloom's missions, so Mr. Kuramori thought of a way around it. We're able to pretend to continue patrolling because of Mr. Kuramori, though none of the other members were surprised when we told them the circumstances. I'm sure they were all disturbed, the researchers and the higher-ups, just like Mihaya. Something on your mind? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about the other Bloom's members. I'm grateful they're all cooperating. Blah! He's here. Right as I said that, the doors of the classroom swung open to reveal Kamui. I knew you two would be here. Mind if I join? Sure do. He's so sassy when it comes to him. You could have at least thought about it. You're ice cold, you know that? Mihaya maintained his usual cool demeanour, which was in sharp contrast to Kamui's cheerfulness. But Kamui seemed to care about Mihaya, and Mihaya didn't appear to dislike Kamui deep down. Because I found out just who Kamui is. That was another fact I'd learned this past week, but I wasn't going to tell Kamui yet. This is just a hunch, but I don't think he'd want me to approach him about it. I knew he'd tell him about himself when the time was right. That was my feeling about it anyway. Don't you have to get? Don't you have other things to do, Kamui? Go on, get out of here. Yeah, fine. Catch you two later. He has a purple colour scheme. Who could he be? You seem to like Kamui a lot, Mihaya. I said that after Kamui was out of sight. Mihaya looked at me with a deep frown. You're kidding, right? How could you say that after witnessing that exchange? You don't talk to people you have no interest in. And you talk to Kamui an awful lot. He's always messing with me, so I have no choice but to respond. It's not like I like... He said the line. It's not like I like him or anything. Though, I guess I don't particularly dislike him either. He said it. He said the line. Mihaya was defending Kamui, even though he wasn't here anymore. His kindness brought a smile to my face. I grinned at him, and Mihaya's expression suddenly turned serious as he looked into my eyes. Yeah? Speaking of liking someone... Cirrus, do you know why I've lost my powers? Oh, well, I've been wondering about that, but now that you mention it, I never asked. Mihaya's superpowers are now completely gone. We confirmed that he couldn't transform right after we got back to Theta, but since the attacks had stopped, I missed my chance to ask. Still, I didn't expect the issue to come up now, and I had no clue what he was talking about. Why he was talking about it. Mihaya heaved a deep sigh. Very sus. So you really don't know? Well, I guess you wouldn't unless I told you directly. Meaning... Mihaya reached out and pulled my still confused self in close. Oh, cute! Hey Mihaya, you're kind of close. Just hear me out. I'll tell you everything. My heart skipped a beat as I gazed into his serious face, and I stilled, waiting. Mr. Kuramori said it before, right? The Blooms aren't allowed to fall in love. That's because falling in love makes you lose your powers. That's why I lost mine, except... That hasn't happened to you. Maybe I'm the only one who feels this way. You've got to understand what I mean, right? Anyone would get it at this point. He said he'd tell me everything, but he stopped talking after that. I was starting to understand what he meant, but I didn't know how to respond. Then Mihaya smiled at me. It's more difficult for me to say it if you freeze up like that. He's embarrassed. He then placed a light kiss on my cheek. He's so
これ
cute.
が俺の気持ちです
That's how I feel about you. I'm sorry I initially thought I'd say it, but I got too nervous. Baby man! I thought kissing someone would be more nerve-wracking. Mihaya let out a laugh when I finally spoke. Maybe under normal circumstances, but I prefer action to words.
言葉にするより行動派なんです
I'm going to actually tell you now, though, so just hear me out again. I mentioned it earlier, but I'm wondering if this is all just on my side. Ugh, I can never say these lines. I love you, Cirrus. Do you have any feelings for me? Even after saying his preferred actions to words, he managed to tell me how he felt. Yes, I love you, Mihaya. Aw, he's blushing. I thought about my situation as I answered. Ooh, yeah, sorry. I just like punched my mic. I thought about my situation as I answered him. The reason my powers hadn't vanished isn't because I don't have romantic feelings for him. It's because the feelings I have go much deeper than just romance. I think it might be why I still have my powers. No, I think it's because you have main character syndrome. Mihaya carried the same pain and sadness as me, and we understood the suffering each other had endured. And we always remembered that anytime we looked at each other, there would be pleasant emotions too, but that wouldn't be all. The pain of remembering loved ones and the warmth of grief and they left behind weren't things we could shoulder alone. That was why we would hold each other in our arms and move forward together. Ah! No! No. I'm putting the BGM on because I don't want to be like, yes, Hugo's voiced by Arthur Lounsbury. That is not on Google. Who is Arthur Lounsbury? That's not what Google says. He's his voice actor. That's what I was talking about in the opening. I get to listen to the song. But I don't want to be yelled at by YouTube again. I'm so sorry. We did it though! We got the ending! We got the ending. I get music. Sorry, Jojo, you get the music, but I do. I can hear it. It's Mihaya's voice actor singing. It's cute. Yeah, Mocha! I'm glad we got an ending though. It's nice. I think I enjoyed this more than the Yukinami ending. I think I did. Oh. Why is weight 66 kilograms? Thanks. Thanks for letting us know. Ah, look at all the boys. I'm excited to view more of the boys. I actually really liked this route a lot more than I thought I would. I thought it was really nice. I thought there was a lot more to Mihaya's character than I was actually expecting. It's nice. It was nice. And the illustrations are pretty. I do like the art in this game. We did it! Another boy for the boy collection. I'm sorry you can't listen to the song. It's a good song. It's really sad. You should why. You should why. Oh wait, look, Mocha has little heels. We've never seen those before. That's really cute. I always forget our like dumb little clown outfit. I think we're nearly there now. Nearly at the end. Put him on the boy shelf. I'll make a boy shelf. Oh, wait, that's cute, though. That's nice. Okay. I think we're safe. I think we're safe. I think we did it. We did it, everyone! Yay! So, I think I might leave it here for today. Leave it on a high. Leave it on a nice little ending. So what I'm going to do is, I think, I'll take a little break from streaming this for a while, and while I'm having a break, I think I'm going to go through the game and try and like set up a few other routes, so we can come back and we can start straight on some routes, straight on some of the boys, without having to mess about on stream. 26% of the game, we're doing it. But yeah, thank you for watching today. I thought that route, I really enjoyed that route. Actually, I liked it a lot more than Yukinami's. But it seemed more like classic dating sim kind of route. It was a lot more sad than I thought it was going to be. Like, the way they discussed through things and talked about things, it was a lot sadder than I was expecting it to be. But I'm happy. I liked how it turned out. I think it's sweet. I like Mihaya. He's cute. And I hope you all like Mihaya. I hope you enjoyed the end of this route today anyway. And I'm not sure what we're streaming next week. I'll have to see how Mesa is doing and see if she can join us for any streams next week or not. It depends how ill she is. But I will work on a schedule tomorrow probably. I might reschedule the Fall Guys for next week if Mesa feels happy or okay. And then I'm going to schedule a Fire Emblem Scream for Scream? No! Don't put the opening. Stop. Okay, yeah, so I think I might schedule a Fire Emblem stream for Friday, but I may have to move it to the Saturday depending if my game arrives or not, because the post never gets here on time. So it's a tentative Friday Fire Emblem stream, which I'm very excited for. So also be excited for that. And I will see you all again very soon. Thank you for coming today, everyone, and have a good evening. Goodbye, everyone.